This is ABC15 Mornings.
Remembering Officer Christopher Farrar after he was killed in the line of duty, how the community is honoring his memory.
Plus, COVID cases continuing to surge in India, the new global record set for daily cases.
And starting tomorrow, Arizona doctors will be able to order COVID vaccines directly from the CDC. Why this is expected to help with the vaccine rollout.
Well, we do want to say good morning to you. It is 6 o'clock on your Saturday morning. I'm Megan Thompson.
And I'm Mark Thompson, and we're going to get to that most accurate forecast in just a second, but we want to begin with some breaking news this morning. 3 people, they are dead after a wrong-way crash on the Loop 101. This was near Camelback. DPS says this happened around 2:30 this morning. A car was going southbound in the northbound lanes when it hit 2 other cars. 3 people again are dead, including the suspected wrong-way driver. And 1 other person was also injured, but is expected to be okay. Right now, the 101 is shut down at Camelback as they continue to investigate this one. It is expected to reopen in about 2 hours or so. This is the part of the Loop 101 where they do have thermal cameras which can detect wrong-way drivers. We have reached out to ADOT to see if those cameras picked up this car, and we'll let you know when they get back to us. All right, this morning, the Valley is experiencing some up and down weather, maybe still staying away from those triple digits.
Yeah, let's give a look at that most accurate forecast for us, Mark, because there is some changes that I want to tell you about. Yesterday, we almost hit the triple digits, so definitely a warm day. Spent a lot of the day inside with that air conditioning on. Today, a little bit better for you, still in the 90s though. So my best advice is to get outside nice and early, because look at these temperatures in Phoenix right now at 71 degrees, Mesa 72 for you, Glendale 67 degrees and 69 in Goodyear. So for your Valley activity planner, I'm just going to caution you on heading out any later than that 11 o'clock or noon hour, because our burn factor is really high. It's at a 9 today, which means your burn time is about 15 minutes as we look into the 70s and the 80s by 10 a.m., 90s by 2 p.m. We're tracking that first triple-digit day. I'll break that down for you coming up in your full, most accurate forecast, Mark.
All right, Megan, thank you. The community still in mourning after a Valley police officer was hit and killed by a stolen car. Another officer was also seriously hurt. Police identifying 25-year-old Jonathan Altland as the driver who led police on a chase across the East Valley before hitting those 2 officers. We're told that he does have a criminal history and now faces charges of murder, aggravated assault, and auto theft. Chandler police officer Christopher Farrar was killed, and Gilbert officer Rico Aranda was seriously injured in that crash.
And just last night, Mark, the community coming together to remember that life. A vigil was held in Officer Christopher Farrar's honor. It was full of somber grief and stories of love. Adam Waltz has more from the Compassion Christian Church in Chandler.
Sundays just won't be the same here at Compass Christian Church. A sombering celebration of life for a veteran officer taken much too soon.
He was a warrior. And when you talk about the finest, we were talking about Chris.
Understand Officer Chris Farrar from one of his best friends.
When I think of Isaiah 6:8, who shall go for us? Whom shall I send? Here am I, send me. Chris embodied everything of that.
A congregation and community grieving the loss of Chandler officer Chris Farrar.
It was shocking. It's like, are we waking up from a bad dream? Is this real? I mean, horrible news.
Family, police officers, and so many others paying their respects.
He will never be forgotten and under the shield for all the things he did, the people he helped.
As a member of the Volunteer Watch Guard, Officer Farrar served his church in the same way he served his community.
Not only did he feel like a greeter because he would smile and welcome people, but they knew that he was one of our watchmen.
Tonight, tears, candles, and memories. Grief, but with hope, knowing Officer Farrar is watching from above.
And so in the middle of a tragedy like this, we know that somehow, some way, God's going to cause something good to emerge from it, and Chris would love that.
Farrar is survived by his parents, 3 children, and a granddaughter. The church is planning a more formal memorial service in the near future. In Chandler, Adam Waltz, ABC 15 Arizona.
Adam, thank you. Many of you have been asking how you can help Officer Farrar's family. Tomorrow, the 100 Club of Arizona will be hosting a phone bank collecting donations in his memory. ABC15 is teaming up with the organization on that effort, but you don't have to wait until tomorrow. You can make a donation right now by going to 100club.org/fallen. And today, Sweet's Cold Brew Coffee Company in Gilbert is holding a fundraiser for Officer Rico Aranda, who was seriously injured in that pursuit. It runs from 10:30 this morning until 1:30 this afternoon at the shop on the corner of Gilbert and Guadalupe. There will also be a raffle. Those proceeds all going to the officer and his family as he recovers in the hospital this morning, Mark.
New cases of COVID-19, they are easing here in the United States, but surging globally. The spike is largely fueled by a massive outbreak in India, which accounts for more than 40% of new cases of the virus. India also setting another daily global record with almost 402,000 new cases. Officials there opening vaccinations to all adults in hopes of stopping the spread. This Tuesday, the U.S. will start enforcing travel restrictions from India, cutting off entry to most people who have traveled there in the past 2 weeks.
More than 103 million Americans are now fully vaccinated against COVID-19, according to the CDC. More than 243 million doses have been administered so far. The vaccination milestone means that nearly 40% of adults are vaccinated. But Dr. Anthony Fauci says the U.S. won't reach herd immunity until 70 to 85% of the population is vaccinated. Starting tomorrow, clinics in Arizona will be able to directly order COVID vaccines. That means physicians and healthcare providers will no longer have to rely on supplies from the county. Nearly 1,200 providers will be able to order up 200 doses of the Moderna vaccine from the CDC every 2 weeks. The hope is that more people will get the vaccine if they can get it from their primary care doctor and get any of their questions answered, Mark.
Yeah, and this week, the mass vaccination site at the University of Arizona campus, it's going to be scaled back. Its hours are going to be shortened before closing for good in June. Just a reminder, state-run vaccination sites no longer require appointments, but it is still recommended that you make one. For ways to book your shot, head to abc15.com/vaccine. And if you still need to get your COVID vaccine this Wednesday, there will be a pop-up vaccination site at St. Vincent de Paul. They will be offering the Moderna vaccine to anyone 18 years old and older. An appointment is required there. To make one, go to podvaccine.az-dhs.gov. You may have to look that one up. It's pretty long. St. Vincent de Paul is located near 51st Avenue and Osborne. Also this Wednesday, you can celebrate Cinco de Mayo and get vaccinated all in one place. The Phoenix Convention Center, it's going to be administering vaccines from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can also get a free Cinco de Mayo mask. To make an appointment, just call the number you see there on your screen, 888-420-0212.
6:08 now. Do you need a job? This Tuesday, Great Wolf Lodge, Arizona is looking to hire more than 120 new employees. They'll be hosting an in-person job fair from 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Appointments are encouraged. Just text Great Wolf Event to 25000. Only a limited number of walk-in interviews will be available. Great Wolf Lodge, Arizona is located in Scottsdale near Pima and Indian Bend Roads. Also on Tuesday, Lowe's is hosting a hiring event too. They are trying to fill more than 50,000 seasonal, part-time and full-time jobs all across the country. Lowe's is looking to hire cashiers, retail associates, stockers, drivers, supervisors, and more. They will be having interviews at all stores Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. For more information and to find a location nearby you can go to lowes.com.
Well, this week, more than 18,000 ASU students, they are graduating, and celebrations are going to be kicking off tomorrow, both virtually and in person. Graduates include more than 12,000 undergrads and more than 5,000 graduate students. Congratulations, Sun Devils.
Now that's my school right there, the Cronkite School of Journalism
Throw
and
'em
Mass
up, throw 'em
Communication.
up.
Throw it up, the Devils. Go Devils. I'm waiting for the video to come back to me. I'm waiting. There it is. Thank you so much. Go Devils. A big honor for the Phoenix Rescue Mission, too. The organization receiving 2 congressional awards for its impact right here in our community. Representative Debbie Lesko giving the award to the organization for its work with the city of Glendale to deploy and manage its homeless worker. The Will Work program provides day labor opportunities to those living on the streets. Phoenix Rescue Mission is partnering with several other Valley cities on similar programs. Shifting and adapting during the pandemic, an Arizona photographer using her talents to amplify the community's voices. Kathleen Dreyer lost many of her paid photography gigs and decided to use her talents to start 2 social series focusing on race in southern Arizona. One of them called Tucson Black Voices and the other What White People Think, which calls white people to action. Dreyer says her work is informed by her 3 decades as a social worker.
Almost every part of photography that I do comes from that standpoint of understanding the human condition.
She says between all of the series she's done, she's captured the spirit of 200 people and is continuing on with another series focusing on the Asian American Pacific Islander community.
Still ahead as we brace for the first triple-digit day of the year, the Let Joe Know team breaks down your rights as a renter if your AC goes out this summer. Plus, 4 astronauts safely back on Earth this morning after a stay at the International Space Station. What cool video there. Why that trip back to Earth was a historic one, we'll explain coming up.
Watch ABC15 Arizona on your schedule. Stream the latest news and weather by searching ABC15 on Roku, Fire TV, Android TV, and Apple TV.
Now to our wildfire watch this morning. Some progress on the flag fire that's burning near Kingman. The fire now 62% contained. It's burned more than 1,200 acres. In the past 24 hours, residents of the Pine Lake community, however, were allowed to return home. Crews are still investigating how this fire started, and I'm sure they would like to have some cooler temperatures, less wind out there, Megan. If possible, maybe even some rain.
I know you're asking a little bit too much here in the Valley of the Sun, Mark.
I knew it.
Yes, we are in that wildfire season, and we actually started that far earlier than I think any of us would have liked. The drought not helping that situation. And we do, like you mentioned, Mark, look at those 3 factors when we're trying to see what those fire crews will be dealing with today. Unfortunately, another warm day ahead. We are dropping our temperatures just a little bit, and we know that every degree is helpful. We'll still be in the 90s, and we won't be near those triple digits, at least here in the valley. Humidity will be low too, below 10% in some spots, and we are tracking those high winds once again. If you felt them yesterday when you stepped outside, really anywhere in our state, you're going to feel them again today with those wind gusts really ramping up, especially in southeastern Arizona. So let's start with those temperatures and what those fire crews or what you will be dealing with when you do step outside today all across the state. 75 in Payson, 83 the high today in Globe, 72 in Show Low, 81 in Winslow, the upper 60s in Flagstaff, 70 degrees at the Grand Canyon, 74 in Prescott, 93 in Gila Bend, and we're dropping into those 90s too to the west along the Colorado River Valley. We know Bullhead City, we're looking at those triple digits yesterday, along with Yuma too. So the wind speeds that we're tracking today, here's what you can expect in the valley. Gusts up to 30 miles per hour with those sustained winds between 15 and 20 miles per hour. Southeastern Arizona is where we have some of the most concerns today for those wildfire dangers, because those sustained winds are between 25 and 35 miles per hour with gusts up to 50 miles per hour. The National Weather Service issuing another red flag warning, this time in southeastern Arizona and along the rim to the east and in southern Arizona for that red flag warning that takes effect right around 11 a.m. today. There's also a wind advisory in that area too because of those wind speeds I just showed you. Here in the valley from the northeast, winds are relatively calm at this point, right around 3 miles per hour. Temperatures are looking nice too, 71 degrees if you wanted to get outside right now. Humidity at 22%, the dew point is at 30. For your valley planner over the next few hours, let me show you how we do warm up today. So by 7 a.m., 71 degrees, 79 by 9 a.m. and then by 11 a.m. we are already in the mid 80s. This is a little bit slower of a warm up compared to yesterday, but we are still going to warm slightly above average for this time of year, about 2 degrees above that 30-year average at 92 degrees with those sunny skies and breezy conditions. So we had a low pressure system move in from the northwest that's helped drop some of those temperatures, and it could potentially bring a little bit of rain to the high country over the next day. Nothing here in the valley. Instead, just breezes and cooler temperatures. Tomorrow to start your work week, 90 degrees for a high. So that is right on track with the average for this time of year. But a ridge of high pressure moves back in, starting to raise those temperatures relatively quickly starting on Tuesday at 94. Then Wednesday, we are going to get close to those triple digits flirting. Mother Nature's flirting once again with them at 99 degrees. Thursday, 100. And then our temperatures drop off again, looking to the mid 90s by Saturday. Mark?
90 degrees tomorrow. Not bad at all. Megan, thank you. Well, what can you do if you are a renter and you need some repairs, like maybe your AC goes out? Those 100-degree days, as we just mentioned, they're going to be here before you know it this morning. The Let Joe Know team looks at your rights, especially with so many people worried about being kicked out of their homes during the pandemic. Here's Joe Ducey.
Joanne says when the air in her son's apartment went out, he called for a fix. That didn't happen. Same thing the next day and day after. Nothing. Finally, the complex said they'd be out, but nearly a week later, still no working AC. So far, it hasn't hit the hundreds, but when it does, complaints about no or slow air conditioning repair go way up. And in the desert, no air conditioning is an emergency. So how do you get action?
The biggest mistake tenants do is say, they're not fixing something that I want fixed, so I'm just not paying rent. That's always the wrong way to start.
Pam Bridge is an attorney with Community Legal Services. She says not paying rent could lead to an eviction. She says make a formal request for repairs to be done. If you call, follow up with an email so it's documented. Most importantly, give reasonable notice, like 48 hours to fix it before you're going to take action.
You're giving your landlord a chance to fix it. They don't fix it. So then you can move your family into a reasonable hotel and then keep a copy of that receipt, and then you can deduct that from your rent.
If a hotel's not an option, after 48 hours, you can buy fans or portable AC units. Keep the receipts to deduct later. Pam says unlike some tenant issues, certain cities have ordinances in place involving AC, requiring landlords to provide adequate cooling systems, like Phoenix and Glendale, where air conditioners have to be able to cool habitable rooms, including restrooms, to 82 degrees. If they're failing to provide that, you can file a complaint with the city. No matter the case, you can't be evicted asking for repairs or filing complaints.
I think tenants, like you said, don't want to rock the boat. But at a certain point, when the tenant messes up, the landlords send them written notices all the time. I think tenants need to be able to protect their rights, right?
Pam says failing to make repairs within a certain time period can even allow you to break your lease with no penalty. But in order to get that and those deductions off your rent that we talked about earlier, you may have to fight your landlord in court. Go to abc15.com/letjoeknow for links to more resources on your rights while renting. I'm investigator Joe Ducey. If you've got a problem, let me know.
Is it's going to be the difference between either staying in business or having to shut down.
Still ahead, new lifelines for restaurants struggling during the pandemic, the billions of dollars up for relief. Plus, some employers, they are now adding a vaccination requirement for job applications, how this could impact your job hunt.
Welcome back to ABC 15 Mornings. Help for the struggling restaurant industry. Starting tomorrow, the Small Business Association will allow people to hit submit on their applications for the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, offering nearly $29 billion in financial support to keep the places we know and love here in the community open. This is not just for restaurants, despite the name. If you own a bar, a food truck, or even sell snacks at a farmer's market, this money is for you. Each business can be awarded up to $10 million in funding based off of the revenue that was lost amid the pandemic.
It's going to be the difference between either staying in business or having to shut down.
Amber Cordoba is with Chicanos por la Causa Prestamos CDFI. They have been helping the community navigate these grants and funding applications, especially since the coronavirus hit. Cordoba says this fund does not need to be paid back, and it can be used for mortgage or rent, any debt, utilities, maintenance, construction of outdoor seating, and more. To prepare for the application, you'll need
your 2019 and 2020 tax returns, bank statements, and also additional information about your sales from your POS provider or your credit card processing company.
We're used to struggling. Well, we're used to making do, but please just know this is not the time to let yourself struggle. You know, if you're in the food and drink business, just apply.
Danielle Leone is on the advisory board for the Independent Restaurant Coalition and runs the Breadfruit and Rum Bar in Phoenix. She says they only got a sliver of the funding needed for survival. The coalition estimated closer to $126 billion in grant money to get through this.
By showing up and applying for the grant money that you need, you are also helping the folks that perhaps don't get the money right now. Because by applying, you're going to save yourself and your neighbor by demonstrating the need to Congress that we do have to refill this restaurant revitalization fund.
And you can start the application process right now. Get everything ready so you can be one of the first to officially submit on the SBA's website tomorrow. Help in applying is available in both English and Spanish. We have details for you in this story on ABC15.com. We'll still head here on ABC 15 Mornings, a crime caught on camera. Can you help find who did this? More on the local animal rescue that was vandalized. Plus, a look at what's expected to happen once all of the U.S. troops leave Afghanistan this September.